Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the Green Truck Records podcast. I am your host, Cayle Hunter. With me, actually, as always, right now, there hasn't been an episode without him, is Shelby Cobra, the other half of Cobra Hunter. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about our song, our newly released song by the time this airs, Title Shot. And Shelby, I want you to start this one off because if my memory serves, this may be our oldest musical idea that kind of still survived. Does my memory map to yours?
Yeah, you wrote this, and when we were in college together, and we had the Bleed Rock Trio band, but it never came to formation. You always had a chorus. I even have the paper around here somewhere. I just came across it the other day. It was in your handwriting and everything. Title Shot. And it was a good one. We got the chorus down, but we never really hashed it out.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I end up playing the chorus on guitar ever. It was more like I just had that big. We were listening to tons of
You do your
AC/DC.
Cayle Hunter thing where you go like this with your finger. You could take a shot. And they're like, yeah, there you go. I got it. We did it.
Yeah, so I was doing like finger, in that rock talk where you're like, yeah, it goes, and then you go, we just talk through it like that, like in some weird language that no one understands. And so at the time we were listening to a bunch of AC/DC, we were playing Bleed Rock Trio cover band shows and playing a lot of those classic rock songs. And I had mentioned to you, like, I love when you sing that AC/DC style stuff. And so then I was like, also, it came from, the joke, like if we were talking about a girl or, a girl was talking about a boy or whatever. But in our case, if we were talking about ladies, we'd always be like, dude, I give her a shot at the title. Right. And so that's when the song. Yeah. So that's when the song idea came to me, is like, that would be a hilarious chorus. And so then I just kind of put something together, the title shot chorus or whatever. But that was, 15 plus years ago, never hashed it out. And then when you and I started writing this record together and just putting together different songs, this was the type of song that most aligns with what I thought we were going to sound like. Like if you'd have said Cayle and Shelby are going to start a band, I'd be like, oh, does it sound like AC/DC? Like, does it sound like ZZ Top or whatever? And I hadn't we hadn't gone that direction at all yet. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I got to get back to, like, I want to just at least get to this idea that I thought we were going to sound like, is this AC/DC type of, like straight up, we are going to write a song that is an AC/DC influenced song. And anybody who hears it is going to be like, oh, they love AC/DC. And we're going to be like, yep, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And just be completely blunt about it and open, and like no shame, no subtlety, no tech, just like, no, we're gonna write this AC/DC type of song. So then that's when I started to put this one together. And you had told me, you're just like, hey, I found that sheet of paper you wrote Title Shot a long time ago. And then I was like, okay. So I just went down to my garage and started hashing out the song.
Yeah.
And then of course you sent me like an audio recording or something. You sent me an email that next day with the first verse, and it was only one guitar and drums. That's all it was. The little intro, or the thing that demo I sent you, and you sent me back a verse, and I was like on the couch. I remember sitting next to my lady, and I started cracking up, laughing, and like tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard because your lyrics just knocked me out. I was like, Shelby is the funniest. Like, I don't know. It blows my mind when I would send you stuff and you send me back these lyrics, and I was cracking up, and I played it for her, and she was just like, oh my God, you guys are so dumb. And I was like, I know, isn't it rad?
I think most of my conversations with my wife end up in an eye roll. We talked about that before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this song wrote itself though. It was so easy to make the connection between just doing like a boxing scenario, and then having the two, kind of play on words. What do they call that? Double entendre? between
Double
having two
entendre.
people in the bedroom and then two people battling out in the ring. You know what I mean? And it wrote itself. It was beautiful.
Well, I'm not that clever to be able to write the, I'm going to talk about like, boy and girl in the bedroom type of situation, trying to, feel each other out just like they do in a boxing match. And then I'm going to write a song where those lyrics are, comparing those two and like they're on this. I would just never be able to come up with that. And it felt like, yeah, you just, as soon as you heard it, you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I got it.
Well, like, I think the first line of the song is like, we were chest to chest sizing up each other on the way in, right? So I was going with like the way in for a boxing match where you're nose to nose with somebody talking all the trash. And then I was just equating it with like on the way into a bar, you see a girl and you're like, dude, that's my contender, right? I'm gonna go up and talk to this girl right here.
In this corner, Shelby Cobra, weighing 200 pounds
Cobra.
from Oakley, California. And then the girl walks in this corner, the challenger. That's what I imagined is like somebody from afar seeing you two like kind of lock eyes for a second and they're like, oh, it's about to be on. Here we go.
Well, you know what? Let's see here. Anytime I've ever a little trash, a different word for that usually, but I'm not going to use this on a podcast. But you never usually go up to a girl and be like, "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Hi, how are you?" No, you're talking a little trash first. You know what I mean? You're trying to, for one, I'm trying to figure out if they can talk trash back because that's always a check mark in my box. You know what I mean? If they can't catch up with me, they're not going to stand a fucking chance. That's all. But
No.
it's always the funnest when you got a little. And I'm like, AC/DC does that for every damn song almost. The banter between a guy and a girl. And then back to that same thing we were doing before, where it's like the girl needs to be almost more aggressive than the guy does, I think, because there's a part in the song where he's talking about, why don't you take a shot at the title? So,
Well, I love when you called her she was a real bedroom pugilist. Like that line was the one that knocked me out. I was like,
oh, knocked me
dude,
out.
yeah, like yeah, literally, I'm going along with our double entendre here but the metaphors, but like just when you said that she was a real bedroom pugilist, I was like, oh my god, what are we doing? This is hilarious. But yeah, that is again, I love that about it. It reflects our personalities, right? And you're totally right. And I think most, dating situations, whoever you're flirting with and want to get to know and see what's up, very, very rarely is it start in the way that you see on like TV where it's like, hey, I noticed you crossed the bar. Can I buy you a drink? It's just awkward. It seems
don't start with holding hands.
no.
It
And
doesn't
and
work.
also just, I don't know, talking to a person you're interested in or you want to vibe with is so, it's just so awkward. The hardest part about that, in my opinion, and I haven't been single for so many years now, but in my opinion, is starting it out without being just a douchebag, without it seeming totally contrived and prepared and rehearsed and cheesy and everything, but making it feel natural and like, hey, let's just so I think you and I, because we use humor a lot, that was it was like we'd always be just ribbing and cracking jokes and being sarcastic and everything like that. So one part of the song I love is because it just reflects how you and I are. So it's like just kind of a little peek into what we actually were like in our single days. And then B, again, the girl is obviously running the show. Like, and we all know that's the way it is in real life. I mean, that's the way that it really is. We can talk all the shit we want, but we know that really who's driving things? It's the girl. She's like, come on.
Thing. It's very rare. A girl has to convince a guy to sleep with her.
Especially with us. We're like, huh? Look at me.
I mean, that's just how life works. You know what I mean? And God bless them for it.
Yeah, it's not like I walk in the room and I'm just like a stunner and they're like, who is that tall drink of water? They're doing me a favor. Any girl that spent time on me was doing me a favor, and I appreciate every one of them, man. Everyone.
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, in this, but I do love it in this situation where she's sizing him up like, all right, let's see what you got, champ. What do you got?
Yeah.
Because you're talking all this trash, and it's like, well, show me what you got then. And I love that. Again, that's like what cracks me up about it is because you're talking a bunch of trash, and she's like, all right, I'll give you a shot. Let's see what's up. And
Yeah.
you're a chump. You're a chump. You're gonna do your best, but I mean, ultimately, she's running the show. It just the humor in that and the truth in it really like is the humor for me. It's like
So
hilarious.
this, just from a straight songwriting standpoint, this one was really fun because you had to make every single line count, and you didn't have a ton of. I can write songs with too many words, and I do it to myself all the time. You know what I mean? Makes it very hard to play live and stuff. But the ACDC stuff, same with like Willie Nelson, same with a lot of stuff in country. You have to make every line count, and you don't have a lot of words to do it. You know what I mean? So this is one of those too, with the bedroom pugilist line, and there's a couple good ones in there.
There are some
I want
winners in
people to
here.
like I want people to be laughing when they miss the last joke, and then they have to go back and listen to it again and be like, wait, I was too busy laughing at that last one.
Wait, rewind that. Play that back. Play that back. Hold on.
Did he just say what I think he said? I think he did say
I
what
did. As soon as I heard that one and just a demo with one guitar and you freestyling vocals or whatever, I listened to it like 2 or 3 times just because I couldn't keep up with the joke. I was just over like laughing over the lines. I was like, I was just on my phone on the couch, like, oh my God. And so I right away, I don't know if you remember that, but as soon as you sent me that, I like had to go and finish the whole thing. But on a musical perspective, on a musical angle, when I kind of had like the verse and the chorus. We got stuck on the bridge. I just remembered this before we got on this
Oh
recording.
yeah.
Is that we had the verse and the chorus for quite a while,
Well, we
and
were
I made them.
deciding whether or not we were going to even mess with the bridge. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah,
Yeah,
we were like, what should we do? Do we need another bridge, or do we need a bridge?
yeah.
I
It was like,
thought
does
we
it need to
did.
go another direction, or should it just be like a solo? Like, because ACDC does that a lot, and same with ZZ Top and some of our favorite bands. Is like the bridge is soloing over the verse, kind of, like a maybe a modified little verse riff. But then it's just a solo, and then they go back into the final chorus. And so you and I kicked that around for a while.
Yeah, ultimately, I mean, it landed on. I always, I always liked the montages, psyching himself up. Strong now. He racing Apollo on the beach. You know what I mean? Carrying the log up the hill to get himself ready for the fight. Well, I mean, that also like just reminded me of like a dude psyching himself up in the bathroom when he's got the hottest woman in the world waiting on him. You know what I mean? And then, so we just kind of went that route, and I was I really wanted to go with like a little bit of the Eye of the Tiger. So we bit a little of that action. I mean, we didn't copy it outright, but it definitely has that feel.
Dude, okay, so that reminds me, I just remember now that you brought that up, is originally you were like, can we do a synthesizer? Can you do
Yeah,
like like a synthesizer thing? So it's not so Eye of the Tiger or whatever. But it is, everybody knows that that's where it came from. And it's that type of
yeah,
like montage music. And it's kind of biting from Eye of the Tiger. But my MIDI controller was like broken at the time. I was waiting for a new one. And so I tried to fake it with the guitar, like put an affected guitar and like just did like the tremolo picking or whatever. And so now it's just the guitar, like, and I was trying to make it sound
yeah.
like a synthesizer. And then when I did
It worked
that,
out good.
yeah, then it started to make sense. Like, and you sent, as a matter of fact, you sent back like a pretty rough demo, I think, of the hits, like of where it should be, and like so I was like, oh, okay. And now it painted out a picture for me of what the bridge could be like, and I think it turned out hilarious and awesome, and it's just one of those songs that makes me love doing this project because it's just fun. It
Yeah.
it makes us laugh. Like we hear it, and it's not like, is anybody gonna like this? We're just like, dude, this is super fun. We're doing that, and that's the end. Like that's the end of
This
the discussion.
I find myself writing a lot of these ones, especially this right here. Like, there's a video going on in my head, like an MTV video, as I'm writing the whole song. You know what I mean? And like, you were even when you were talking about you were doing bobbing and weaving, but I just picture when that breakdown comes, dun, 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 dun. You're like, oh yeah, here we go, here we go.
Some dude working up a lather in the bathroom, like, okay, okay, come on, you got this, you got
You can
this.
do this.
All,
You can
all this
do this,
work, yeah,
champ.
all this work I did in the gym, just in case a girl talked to me, it's paying off. Come on, man. You know, just like being idiots,
Don't blow it
like
now.
we,
Don't blow
yeah,
it
don't blow.
now.
It's your big shot, man. It's your big shot. You worked your whole life for this. Don't blow it. So yeah. After the bridge was done, then it was like, all right, now this is a real song, and we saw the real direction of it. And you on your demo did the guitar leads over the chorus, because mine was just straight. Mine was just like down, dun, dun, and you added the little guitar leads over the chorus, which I thought made it more interesting. And by the way, thanks to feedback from your brother, I believe, we will now have the song at the end of this podcast for people to listen to. But I was going to say, when you hear this song, you can actually judge for yourself. You know what I mean? If you like the leads or whatever. But I think it makes the chorus sound like more pleasing to the ear, just more rocking out and everything. It's more layers there, but it's not all jumbled up. But yeah, you did those leads. Now, was that something where you're like, why hasn't he done these yet? Like, I'm just going to do it to tell him that he's an idiot and let him know they need to be there.
Well, I mean, it screamed for some kind of hook, and that was just like the little hook at the end there. And I always run that stuff past you and Keen, but once it did it, it was like, yeah, that's what it needed right there. That just kind of tied the whole chorus and the song together.
It did for me, yeah, and I had to learn how to play it. And I'm not a very good guitar player, so that was a fun challenge for me. But thankfully, you made it easy for me. I think you dumbed it down. You're just like, oh wait, hold on, Cayle's gonna play this. Let me dial it back a little bit, and then you gave me a paint by numbers, which is what I need.
Yeah. Oh no, I was going to ask you because I didn't ask you before. See, now we have conversations without doing the podcast that I have to save our talks because I'm like, well, this is great podcast stuff. I don't want to just waste it. But did you ever have you ever seen Raging Bull?
I have seen Raging Bull. I haven't watched it for a long time, but yeah.
Well, there's his big fight in the thing. He goes up to Homie and he's like, "You never knocked me down, Ray. You never knocked me down." But I kind of sang that line in the song, "You never knocked me down," with a little accent like him. And I was just wondering if people would ever catch on to it. They probably now because I let the cat out of the bag. But
I would say that I didn't. I mean, that's one of the most famous lines from that movie.
Yeah.
Right.
We were going round for round. You never knocked me down.
Good one. That's good. See, I like it. See, now I'm learning stuff about our music, which is rad. But and also, to be honest, lyrics are usually the last thing I listen to when I listen to music of any kind, not just art. Any like lyrics, vocals, or I mean, I like the vibe of the vocals. I like the hooks, all that stuff. But for the most part, lyrical content, my whole life, I've just kind of whatever. And
you know what though? I think that's why me and you have such a good little chemistry, right? Because that's the opposite of my strength is not laying out a song or arranging a song at all. I can come up with a hook or I can come up with a chorus, but usually I'm humming a song to myself before I ever come back and figure out the music to it. You know what I mean? And that's when you send me stuff already built, that's easy for me. I just get to play it a bunch of times and start putting words to it.
Hey, you're right, because that's so opposite of me. If you wrote a song and you're like, Cayle, can you do words to this? I would feel like you were mad at me. Like, like I'm going to punish you with something. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to make you miserable because I'm not good at lyrics. I've never had a desire to be good at lyrics. Now I have some other songs in a project and I've kind of had to, started singing and writing lyrics. And it seriously is so tough for me to like that. I just don't enjoy it. I also just never felt like I was a person that had something to say, that people need to hear what I gotta say.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You wrote that one song to your wife, and that was awesome.
Well, so,
We'll get
yeah.
to hear that soon enough, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, maybe I should put those out there. But yeah, so the songs for my lady and stuff, that to me is easy because I can lean into being cheesy, and it's because it's for an audience of one. So,
Right.
when the lyrics are very cheesy, and I can just let that go and I'm not self-conscious about it. When it comes for things that I might release to the public, I get, it's weird. I'm never really afraid of what people are going to think. I'm just afraid of like my quality of work. And
Right.
when you release something, you should be really proud of it. And I get concerned that I'm never going to be proud of the lyrics that I have, and my rhyming schemes are very elementary sounding, like if I say one word in one line, like 2 lines later, I rhyme exactly with that word. Like, like an 8th grader writing poetry on the back of a binder or something. That's what my lyrics are like.
Dude, I
And
will use the same word with the same word, and it happens. Major studios let this go down. And out loud, if I'm listening to this song, lazy ass songwriting. There's so many words in the English language that you can come up with and do, but don't rhyme want with want, love with love. Like, unless it's two separate meanings for those words and you're playing on the words, just don't do it. Come
I,
on.
I completely agree. It makes me crazy. I heard one on a radio the other day, and they rhymed high with high, and it was the same. Oh no, higher with higher. And I was like, you couldn't have gone to fire, wire, there was nothing else in there. You
Anything?
had to just use the same word. It seems so lazy to me. And I don't
Yeah.
like that. In old school hip hop, that like they used to do that more often. Like they would rhyme the same word, and I would be like, bro,
Yeah, dude.
not,
Especially in hip hop and rap, that's all you got is the words, bro. You gotta just, I'll do this, and this is something that I just do to challenge myself a lot. But I'll take a word that's just a trippy word. Pugilist. How many times are you going to try and rhyme pugilist with something? You know what I mean? Or everybody's going to go love, heart, or, very basic words to rhyme shit with. But contraption. Throw a word in like that. It just kind of makes it a little more interesting, too. You know what I mean? And then I've always loved to odd way to get things to link up. I mean, I'm trying to think of a word right now that does that, but like making a sentence bleed into the other sentence to make it work as far as a phrase goes. You know what I mean? I had this old song, me and JD, and it talks about, and just ask old Dave Glee, son JD is going to get you killed, but his name's Dave Gleason. So
hmm.
you can either take it Dave Glee, son JD is going to get you killed, or you just say take that. That's all one sentence. I
See, I
just
think
like that.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's so cool. Like you write enough lyrics and they come easy enough to you where you're like challenging yourself. My challenge is to just make it fit in the line. And, like literally, I'm telling you, I'm paint by numbers when it comes to guitar solos and lyrics and everything like that. And I think that's why we work so well. And I'm excited for people to hear this song because in general, I'm just proud. It cracks me up. The lyrics absolutely crack me up. It showcases our influences more than any other song. Like the original
Absolutely.
thing, the original, when we started playing music together, I thought if we started a band, it was going to sound exactly like AC/DC and ZZ Top. And that was going to be pretty much it. Like we weren't going to
Yeah.
deviate from that at all. And you listen to the songs as a whole, even the songs we've released so far, they're not really like that. I would say it's closer to like Guns N' Roses more because it's more riffy than I thought it would be,
Right.
like Down or Guns N' Roses or something like that. But this
See,
is what
like
I
the
thought it
sinking
was going to be.
song is more down, I would say, more corrosion of conformity, that style.
Yeah.
But this stuff, this song right here, I fully believe is more turn your brain off, turn it up to 11, and have as much fun as you can. You know what I mean? Drink a bunch of beers, ride your motorcycle with the music going as loud as you can. It's rock and roll, baby. Don't overthink it. You're gonna blow it.
I
Crank
can
it up.
just get out of your way. And that's when we talk about me with lyrics, I overthink them. And I think because I overthink them, it dumbs them down. I think if I was just letting it rip, they'd probably be more, they'd be funnier, more natural sounding, and probably more complicated. but I overthink it. And so you're so great of just being like, dude, whatever comes out is probably the best thing. I'm going with that. And I think that's super cool. And it works on this one because it's another one where me and Chris Keen were in the control room when you were doing the lyrics, and he hadn't heard him before. And I was a kid. I couldn't wait for his reaction. He was just like, what the hell is this? This is hilarious. And I was like, I know. That's Shelby. That's my guy. That's who I chose to be in a band with.
Oh man,
It cracked me up, dude. It's so good. I love it. I'm patting us on the back for this one because it's funny. It's a great rock song, and I enjoy it. Like I think it's rad.
blessing and a curse, and I'm glad that you enjoy it because it makes for some awkward. My lyrics make for awkward situations for my bandmates. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit on stage, or I don't give a shit. That's my outlet. You know what I mean? I have a pen and a microphone, and you don't. So I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want. And I don't care if you get mad at me, because 9 times out of 10, I'm writing it as a third person point of view. You know what I mean? But I'm writing it down either way. And if I say stuff that might not be politically correct, it's not just me standing on the stage. I mean, I got a bassist, a
That's true.
guitarist, and a drummer that got to make eye contact with people too. So I try to be like, guys, do you want to play this live? Because you're going to have to answer for it at some point too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're
And
in the
there's
band.
some things. I mean, Nick Harris was one of the first ones to be like, I'd rather you not do that. Play that one.
Could we not
Okay.
say that? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, Nick. Well, I'm excited for people to hear this one. I'm going to put it right now at the end of this episode. Called Title Shot by Cobra Hunter. It's on Spotify, it's on YouTube Music, Amazon, all that good stuff. So now listen to what we've been talking about. Thank you for the feedback, because this is from your brother and anybody who listens to these things. I love feedback. Like, hey, why didn't you guys do this? Why didn't you put the song at the end? Or why don't you guys do this? Any feedback you have is welcome. I probably won't listen to it because I'm hard-headed and want to do things my own way, but I'll appreciate the feedback nonetheless. So no, we pass on thanks to your brother, and everybody else who's listening is probably like, yes, thank you, finally, you idiots. So here's the song Title Shot. That's been our episode for the day. Thanks y'all for listening, and tell us below what you think of this song. Cheers.